Good evening. We're bringing you a story tonight that goes beyond the headlines, beyond the immediate outrage, beyond the arrests and the political statements.
This is a story about what we've lost and what we stand to lose.
On December 29th, 2025, the sacred town of Draksharamam in Andhra Pradesh, a century-old Shiva Lingam, was destroyed by a group of unidentified men, smashed, desecrated, at the historic Sri Bhimeswara Swamy temple, one of the five revered Pancharama temples, a symbol of faith that had stood for over 100 years, was reduced to rubble.
The timing? Vaikunta Ekadasi, one of the holiest days for devotees. When pilgrims arrived before dawn to seek blessings, they found devastation instead.
But here's what we want you to understand. This isn't just about one broken lingam. This is about an ecosystem that has been systematically degraded over decades.
And tonight, we're going to connect the dots.
Let's start with what happened. The Draksharamam temple complex is a site of immense spiritual significance where devotees take holy dips in the temple pond before offering prayers. This is where the attack occurred, late at night when darkness provided cover.
The Shiva Lingam stood at the Kapileshwar Ghat on the stairs leading to the temple pond. For over a century, it had been there. Countless devotees had worshipped there. Countless hands had offered flowers, water, and prayers.
One man destroyed it in minutes.
Authorities installed a new lingam quickly to restore sanctity. Security has been enhanced.
But here's the question no one is asking loudly enough. How did we reach a point where such an act was even conceivable?
You see, when someone can walk into a sacred space, a space that has stood for generations, and destroy it without hesitation, it tells us something profound about the society we've become.
It tells us that reverence has been replaced by contempt, that spiritual heritage has been reduced to just another object that can be vandalized, that the sacred has been secularized to the point of meaningless.
So, how did we get here? Let us take you through the systematic degradation of the civilizational Hindu ecosystem.
For decades, particularly in states like Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, West Bengal, and parts of Tamil Nadu, atheistic and communist ideologies have dominated the intellectual and political landscape.
Communist movements in these regions systematically dismantled respect for Hindu traditions. They called temples tools of oppression. They dismissed spiritual practices as opium of the masses. They trained generations to view their own heritage with contempt.
In Andhra Pradesh specifically, the communist movement has deep roots. The Telangana Peasant Rebellion, the Naxalite influence, decades of Marxist ideology in universities and cultural Hindu symbols, deities wasn't just acceptable, it was almost encouraged as progressive.
So let us give you some statistics because numbers don't lie, and the mainstream media will not emphasize this. According to census data, between 1951 and 2011, the Hindu population share declined from 84.1% to 79.8% nationally. That's a 4.3 percentage drop.
And in the same period, the Muslim population grew from 9.8% to 14.2%, a 4.4 percentage point increase. But look at specific states. In West Bengal, the Hindu share dropped 2 percentage points between just 2001 and 2011, falling to 71%. In Uttarakhand, Hindus declined by 2 points to 83%.
In Assam, a 3-point drop to 61%. In Kerala, the Muslim share increased by 2 points to 27%.
Let's broaden the lens. This isn't happening in isolation. Temple attacks and vandalism is occurring globally.
Hindu advocacy organizations have documented rising incidents of temple vandalism across the globe. Attacks on Hindu temples in the United States and Canada have increased dramatically.
A weekly tracker by VSK Telangana recently recorded 45 cases of religious coercion, temple vandalism, and targeted violence in just 1 week.
And continuous attacks on Hindu institutions are occurring globally. But here's what troubles us the most: the silence, the deafening silence when these attacks occur.
Compare the media coverage, the international outrage, the activist mobilization when other religious sites are threatened versus when Hindu temples are desecrated. Notice the difference?
This isn't something new. Historical research suggests that as many as 60,000 Hindu temples were destroyed during various invasions over centuries. Thousands of mosques had been built on these foundations.
But what is happening now is different. This isn't external invasion. This is internal degradation. This is a civilization being taught to be ashamed of itself.
So what's driving this? Let us be direct. For decades, the dominant intellectual framework in universities, in media, in policy circles has been shaped by ideologies that view Sanatana Hindu Dharma as problematic.
Communism specifically targeted Hindu institutions as symbols of oppression. Temples were attacked as casteist. Rituals were dismissed as superstitious. Scriptures were caricatured as regressive.
But here's the selective application. The same ideologues who called for destroying Hindu orthodoxy remained silent about orthodoxy in other religions. Why? Because the project wasn't about equality. It was about dismantling a specific civilization.
Then came what we call pseudo-secularism, a framework where Hindu festivals in public spaces are questioned as violations of secularism.
But other religious gatherings receive state protection and even funding.
Temple wealth is controlled by the state.
But other religious institutions have complete autonomy over their institutions.
Hindu customs are constantly required to reform.
But other religious practices are protected under cultural rights.
This created an ecosystem where being openly Hindu, being proud of Hindu heritage, being devoted to Hindu practices became somehow embarrassing, regressive, communal.
Add to this the influence of certain Western academic frameworks that approached Hindu civilization through colonial lenses, that saw caste in every ritual, that found oppression in every tradition, that could only understand Hinduism through the lens of colonial power and hierarchy, never as a profound spiritual system.
These frameworks were imported wholesale into institutions. They shaped curricula, they trained teachers, they influenced policymakers.
The result? Multiple generations educated to view their own heritage as suspicious.
What happens when you systematically degrade a civilization's confidence in itself?
You get young people who don't know their own scriptures but can quote Marx.
You get intellectuals who critique the Manusmriti.
You get a society where attending a temple is seen as less sophisticated than attending a wine tasting.
You get Vandals who can smash a century-old Shiva Lingam without their conscience stopping them.
Because when you're told repeatedly these symbols are meaningless, or worse, symbols of oppression, they become fair targets.
And here's the tragedy. While all this degradation is happening internally due to colonialism, Sanatan Hindu Dharma was actually contributing immensely to the nation and the world.
The temple economy contributes an estimated 2.32% to GDP. Hindu humanitarian efforts serve many millions of free organic meals per month. In KAILASA, 3 million meals are served monthly. Hindu medical camps serve millions. Hindu disaster relief has saved countless lives.
But how much of this is celebrated? How much is even acknowledged?
So, what is the answer? Is it to just lament what's been lost? Is it to just document the decline?
No, because something remarkable is happening, an alternative is being built.
Let us tell you about KAILASA, the Enlightenment ecosystem revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Parameshwaran. KAILASA represents something unprecedented in modern times, the revival of the ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation.
Think of it as similar to what the Vatican provides for Catholicism, and a central hub, a preservation system, a living tradition, but for Sanatan Hindu Dharma.
KAILASA is a complete ecosystem designed to preserve, protect, and propagate authentic Hindu knowledge and practices in a world that has systematically tried to erase them.
It operates as a sovereign spiritual nation under international law,
A network of temples, universities, and monasteries worldwide,
a preservation system for ancient Hindu sciences,
a humanitarian service globally,
and a voice for the persecuted Hindu minorities globally.
So let us bring this full circle. A century-old Shiva Lingam was destroyed in Draksharamam. One man was arrested. But the deeper question remains, how do we heal a civilization that has been systematically taught to disrespect itself?
The answer isn't just about better security at temples, though we need that. It isn't just about faster police action, though we need that too.
It's about rebuilding the ecosystem, restoring confidence, reviving knowledge, reconnecting with roots.
So, first, educate yourself. Learn about Sanatan Hindu Dharma from authentic sources, not through the distorted lenses of hostile ideologies. Visit kailasa.org for authentic information. Read the scriptures, the Hindu scriptures directly.
Support Hindu institutions that are working to preserve and propagate authentic Hindu knowledge. KAILASA's Enlightenment ecosystems offer a comprehensive framework for this revival. If you want to learn more, you can scan the QR code on the screen.
And stand up for the autonomy of the Hindu temples. Why should over 400,000 temples be under government control when no other religion faces this? This is discrimination, plain and simple.
Document and speak up about attacks on Hindu heritage. Every vandalized temple, every desecrated symbol, every act of contempt must be recorded and needs your voice.
And live your dharma proudly. Don't be apologetic because about your practices, about your devotion, your heritage. The degradation happened because we allowed others to define us. It is time where we define ourselves.
And finally, understand that this isn't just about preserving the past. It's about securing the future. KAILASA represents a vision of what an enlightened Hindu civilizational nation can offer the world. Solutions to modern problems through ancient wisdom.
So the question before us is simple. Will we stand and watch this ancient enlightened tradition be systematically erased, or will we actively participate in its revival?
The KAILASA ecosystems have shown us that revival is possible, that enlightenment is not a relic of the past, but a living reality, that Sanatana Hindu Dharma has solutions, profound, practical solutions for all of humanity's greatest challenges.
All it requires is that we reconnect, that we reclaim, that we revive.
The broken sanctum can be healed. The degraded ecosystem can be restored. The lost confidence can be rebuilt.
But it starts with each one of us making a choice.
We have given you the facts tonight. The decline, the discrimination, the systematic degradation. But we've also shown you the alternative. A thriving, growing, globally recognized enlightenment ecosystem and nation that refuses to let this civilization die.
Now, the rest is up to you. This is not just a news story. This is a civilizational moment. Will you choose? What will you choose?
With this, we thank you, and do take a moment to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Share this with your friends and learn more about KAILASA by staying tuned. Thank you.